Hello and welcome to yet another episode of the Dear Manager series. This is your host Sonali. What is the Dear Manager series? This is a series of anonymous letters that I have gotten from you, the writer and the reader and the listener of this series. This is a storytelling series where I read these anonymous letters from the employees, from the people who are kind of victims of bias and favoritism and politics and the nasty stuff at the workplace. And these are things that they wish that they could say to their workplace, at their workplaces, to their managers, the bosses, the leaders, but they cannot. And after each of these stories, I share my honest reflections, things to do, and that you, as a manager, leader, boss, founder, business owner, can do to build more empathetic and human workplaces. All right. So let's get to today's story. Today's story is probably going to be a story that a lot of us relate with. I know I relate with it, and once I read it out loud, you will be able to relate with it as well. Dear manager, I tried to get things right. I asked questions, followed up, clarified. You called me too anxious, said I overthought everything. I wasn't confused. I just wanted to do things well. But every time I asked for clarity, you withdrew more. Every request became a red mark against me. Eventually, I stopped asking, not because I understood, but because I was tired of being misunderstood. So, let me know in the comments how many times have you just stopped yourself from asking a question thinking you're going to sound silly, you're going to sound stupid, you don't want anyone to make fun of you, you don't want to hear things like this, such a dumb question to ask, or any versions of that. Or you don't want people to answer you in a dismissive tone. You don't want to ask repeat questions because you feel like they are going to get annoyed with you. And think about it. I think these are things that from school we have kind of picked this up. We know that there are a lot of teachers who did not like us asking too many questions, who did not like us asking multiple times the same questions, even if we did not understand. And there were also teachers who kept on saying that you can ask me one thing thousands of times and I will explain, but it's important for you to understand this concept, right? This is what we are dealing with at the most fundamental level. So let me ask you a few questions here. First, are you confusing a need for clarity with a lack of confidence? If someone asks you a question multiple times, is it because they don't understand your answer? Is it because that they are unable to, they need a few more clarifying elements? Or do you think that they are constantly asking you questions because they are not confident in their delivery? These are two very different things. If I am asking you, trying to clarify something, maybe you are not able to explain to me, or maybe you are explaining it to me in a way that I don't completely understand. That this is a communication problem. I am not underconfident per se, right? It could come across like that because we often feel people who ask more doubts are doubtful because they are less confident. I don't think that's the case. In fact, I have met many people who are extremely fantastic at their job. The reason because they keep asking clarifying questions, they keep asking and clarifying their doubts, and when they sit to do the work, they are able to deliver at a much higher um, quality than the rest of us who just thought, let me not ask this question because I'm going to look and sound stupid. Next, is your team afraid to ask questions because of how you respond? Remember that teacher who got annoyed all the time? Remember if you had a parent who also got annoyed if you asked too many questions? So you shut down, you didn't want to ask any more questions, you just kept things inside your heart. Are you a leader like that? Does your team ask you questions? Does your team clarify certain things? How many doubts do people ask you? These are important metrics for you to measure. And finally, what's your responsibility in someone's second guessing spiral? Now, this can be a very subjective answer. I am not going to completely sit here and blame the leader or the manager here because many people just go on a spiral themselves even when you have clarified multiple times what the task at hand is. But some people need that extra support, some people need to be explained a certain way, and if that is not done, then they completely spiral. That, and it's really sad, right? And as a leader and a Manager, you can make the spiral stop. So, some things that I can tell you is that have a conversation with your team and have an open discussion about their learning styles, their communication styles, their working styles. If you have to explain a task to them, in what way can you explain so that they understand? Some people require a call, some people require a tutorial of sorts, some people require to see a demo, some people just understand if you write it clear enough. So in what way do they really understand instructions is something that you have to decipher with your team. Yeah. So I'm sure many of us have felt this, that when we are at a workplace we just do not want to ask enough any questions, rather, because we feel like we're not going to look intellectual, we're not going to look confident. But I feel like a healthy workplace is such where nobody hesitates, where people just are okay asking the quote unquote stupid, silly, dumb questions, only for them to know and hear back from their leader, from their management saying, please ask any questions, any kind of questions that you want. Remember, no question is stupid, silly, or small. We are here to answer. That is the kind of workplace that you should envision and try to build. Then only these kind of feelings will not crop up in your employees' hearts and minds. So that's it for today's series. Again, if you have any questions and thoughts and comments, you can put it there in the comment box. If you want to submit your own story, the link will be there in the description as well. Um, I am available for you to connect with me on LinkedIn. Please do that if you want to. I'm also there on Instagram. I also write a newsletter. You can check that out in the description. And if you want to come and chill with me in multiple events that I host in different cities, you can check out the events page www.humanize.in/events. Until next time, I hope to read your story soon. Cheers.